Hello, my name is Vincent Mirish. I'm a junior at the Geffen Academy at UCLA, and my research project is about racism in English football fandom and the attempts to eradicate it. My research question is a two-part question. First, I looked at racism in English football fandom, what it is and how much of it there is. And then in the second part, I looked at how is it being fought, what are initiatives doing against it, and how effective they are. For the overview, my introduction is context. Then the objective is why is it important. For methods, how my research was conducted. For results, what my research found. And then finally, discussion and conclusion, which go together. What my research found, why is that important, and the next steps in the community. For my introduction, racism in England targets immigrants from racial and ethnic minorities. This comes from a deep history of immigration and colonialism in England. English football racism is no different. In the past, racism was seen through chants in stadiums and physical actions during games. This has transitioned now to social media. Currently, initiatives such as Kick It Out, which is an anti-racist organization partnered with the Premier League in English football to fight racism, seeks to limit and minimize racism however it can, although that has become extremely difficult with the new digital era and the rise of social media. For the objective, football is the largest sport in the world. The Premier League is one of the largest leagues in the world. It is very far-reaching and influences very many people. Therefore, the racism affects very many people. For my methods, I looked at initiative data. I analyzed data from Kick It Out and the FLDC, the Football Leadership and Diversity Code. Both of these initiatives post their data on racism. I also did a literature review of peer-reviewed journals talking about racism in English football. Then I looked at research statistics in peer-reviewed studies that took a more analytical approach on racism. For my results, racism is very much still prevalent and thriving. Racism continues to be deeply rooted in football fandom. Many fans continue to see some version of it. Racism has decreased in stadiums. Chants are a thing of the past and are not a concern anymore. However, on social media, it is growing rapidly. Initiatives are not well equipped against this online racism. Another problem is stopping it. There's no way to really prosecute it or punish it, and this is a key factor that lets it grow. The way this racism can be combated is education. Education is easily the most important and most effective way to fight it. Many fans refuse to engage in discussions about racism in any capacity, and therefore they do not go against it. Many fans have zero understanding of what the racism truly looks like in football. Due to the minimal understanding, they do not talk about it, and so it continues to grow. Fans need to be more educated, and this is something initiatives need to work on. Showing people what racism looks like and how to combat it helps minimize it. For my discussion, my results help deepen the discussion on racism in football. The research looked at a new form of racism and found the important solution to be education. The initiatives are not doing a good enough job yet. This research helps fans see the racism more clearly and forces them to be more educated about it. And again, it is very difficult to enforce and punish. Anyone can make new accounts and continue doing racist things online while staying completely anonymous. The next steps in research are looking at more concrete and empirical data on combating racism. Another step would be a deeper dive into racism on social media, and again, trying to get more empirical data. For my conclusion, it is clear that racism is still prevalent. Initiatives are not as successful as they hope to be due to this increase in racism on online spaces. Racism is spreading through social media, and initiatives are spreading awareness but are not educating. This new quote-unquote monster that is social media is growing quickly and must be talked about and must be something the community addresses. There is more that the initiatives can do and that the community as a whole should be doing. What research needs to continue looking at is social media and the creation of new online spaces. New people are being dragged into racism, and this is something that has to stop. The growth is something that is right now almost uncontainable, but education of fans is something that would help stop the growth. I want to thank Dr. Harrell and Dr. Ashworth, both of my educators, for helping me and teaching me so much. I also want to thank my friends who helped me with my poster and my slideshow. and thank you for listening to my presentation.